Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. If you don't know me personally, my name is Shauna. I am a certified yoga teacher, a mom of two kids, and an experienced training manager. So, what I do is I blend my training experience with yoga to try to help spread that knowledge and awareness and participation in yoga to you, to help you. So there's my quick introduction. This workshop is it's a little relaxed. It's a little informal. So what I'll be doing today is inviting you to join me in my personal reflection as I close out 2025. So I love the practice of reflecting on the past and trying to learn everything that we can learn from those experiences, figure out what we liked, figure out what we didn't like, and use that knowledge, that wisdom to make better decisions for my year ahead. And I thought, why not invite you to join me? I think this is a really powerful exercise, so I wanted to invite you to do it with me. What you'll need for this time together, whether you are watching it live or on the recording, you will just need a notebook or a place to write down some of your reflections. This is a participatory workshop, so we will be doing things together here today. And then also, I recommend just having access to either your calendar from the last year. So I have my planner handy. You can be your digital calendar if you use digital calendars. I use my digital calendar quite a bit as well, so I'll be referring to that too. And also, I recommend having your photos handy, either from your phone or from your computer. Let's go ahead and dive in. I do have a couple of slides prepared just to give us something to look at and help us stay organized. Alrighty, so I have taught this versions of this workshop for many years, and it always seems to evolve, and I would love to eventually turn this into a more thorough, a formal program, but we're not there yet. So this is going to be an informal workshop where we just go into these exercises together. This is a two-part workshop. So I've broken this into two sections because I think it's a little overwhelming if we do it all in one sitting. But part one, which is what we're doing today, is the reflection. So right now we're looking back on 2025 so we can close the chapter and feel like we are resolved with that year so that we can start looking forward into 2026. And we will do that in a different workshop. So this is really about looking backwards, and then we will start to look forwards in part two, which I will invite you to later. These are all totally free. I would love any of your feedback or questions so that maybe I can turn this into a more robust official program in the future. But for now, let's just dive in. So part one is going to be, like I said, that reflection and release. If we were to break down the workshop into three buckets, it's reflect, reset, renew. So in this reflection, we're going to look back on the past year. We're going to retain and absorb as much as we can, or as much as we desire to. We're going to analyze the past year, but we're going to do so in a mindful way, so without judgment. We're just going to look at the things that happened without getting in our head and overthinking about what all of those things mean, about who we are. None of that. We're going to just learn it from it objectively, and then we're going to move on. So after that, we will do a quick reset of letting go and closing the chapter on 2025, releasing expectations and judgment, and give ourselves space to begin renewed in 2026. And that's really what our next workshop is going to be about. So we won't go into that quite right now, but I wanted to share with you. So this is a a slide that I've used for years because I've taught versions of this workshop for years. And so, my general philosophy on life and planning of life is that you have to first know where you are so that you know where you want to go and then figure out a way to get there. It sounds so simple, but it's something that a lot of us, I think, walk through life forgetting to do, forgetting to stop and look at our own map that we're trying to draw for ourselves. There's this quote that I always like to refer back to: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. There's a lot of different versions of quotes like this, and I think they're all very telling and very motivating. So for me, a big motivating factor is fear, a fear of regret. And you may have heard of like that rocking chair test where you imagine yourself, very, very old and at the end of your life on a rocking chair, reflecting on your past, and you want to feel like you made the most of the precious life that you have on this planet. And so this is my way to try to have some sense of control over that, how I'm going to look back on my life. And I am I am a control freak. I am a recovering perfectionist, I like to say, but I struggle with it deeply. So this is sort of my method, and I find it very helpful. Not to say that I'm perfect at it by any means, but I find it very helpful. So helpful, in fact, that I actually created a method based on Kalana, the name of my company, that really drives this home. So this is sort of the version 2 of the map that you just saw. It really still boils down to knowing where you are, knowing where you want to go, and planning a way to get there. But we've broken it into this method of kind self-reflection, which is what we're going to do today, and then setting achievable goals, creating lifestyle integration through adaptable practices and a network of support so that we can acknowledge and celebrate the achievements that we make. So this is sort of, on a really big level, on a really high level, what I'm trying to achieve, but we're going to go through just that first sliver in today's reflection workshop. So why do we do this? Why is this workshop important? I shared with you one of my motivating factors is fear of regret. I think that a lot of us have that, whether or not we are super conscious of it. I think a lot of us have that fear. And I think that by doing a workshop like this, we are able to feel like we have some sense of control over our own destiny. And so this is not about holding ourselves accountable to the things that we say we're going to do. This is not about achieving a certain level of success in our career or any, preconceived measures of success that we might grasp onto from other people. What this is really about is being intentional with our time on this planet and feeling like we are working towards our higher purpose, whatever that is for us. This doesn't mean your own, specific level of success or achievement in any particular area. It's about having a sense of grounded appreciation for this time that we have and an intentional way of using it. How many times have you felt like, oh my gosh, the year passed by and I don't even remember what happened? How did I turn 40? I just thought I just turned 30. What happened in the last 10 years? How often do you have those moments of like, oh my gosh, life is flying by. My kids are already so big and I just feel like I missed out on this time with them and it's flying so fast. The point of this workshop is to not have to live with that level of regret, and is to say, you know what? I am making the most of my time. I am feeling fulfilled with the choices that I'm making. Sure, not everything's going to work out the way we hope or plan, but I feel like I'm living my own life and I'm doing it my way, on my terms, and I feel good about it. That's why we do this. That's the whole purpose. So if that purpose feels good to you, then stick around. That's what we're here for. All right, let's move this and let's keep going. Let's dive in and just actually get started. So, now that my preamble is over, I would like to guide you in a short meditation to help get our mindset prepared and ready for our upcoming reflection. So, join me. Join me in a comfortable seat and come to a sense of grounding, whether that's feet on the ground, whether you're sitting on the ground, whether you're standing up, no matter where you are or how you're positioned, find your connection to the earth, whether it's through your shoes, through the floor. Notice how we are all connected, and by some way, you are connected to the earth, unless you have found a way to defy gravity, which please inform me if you do. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, just sigh it out. Take another deeper inhale through your nose. And exhale, let it all go. Take another deeper inhale through your nose. Invite in as much air as you can possibly fit into your lungs. Pause when you reach the top. Hold. And forcibly exhale everything out. Try to empty your lungs of all that stale air that's been circulating inside of you and make space for fresh, clean, brand new air as you take a deep inhale through the nose and sigh it out once again. Beautiful. Allow your breath to return to its natural pace. Allow your attention to turn inward. And just paying attention to where the breath feels in the body, noticing how it travels from the nose into the throat, down into your belly, into your bloodstream, where the oxygen permeates throughout your entire being. And as your oxygen, as the air that you breathe in enters your bodily system, it fuels life and newness with every breath. And with every exhale, we release what no longer serves us. Now, physically, that's in the form of carbon dioxide, but you can also think of that as a metaphor for releasing other things that no longer serve you. With each inhale, your breath receives newness. It puts that energy to work to keep your body alive and flourishing. It does not need to be told what to do. You are supremely intuitive when it comes to breathing and staying alive. And with each exhale, you have the opportunity to let go of something that is no longer giving you the energy or the life force that you so need and desire. Take this opportunity to do a quick scan of the last 12 months of your life. Scan through 2025 in your mind, just briefly, high level, and just notice what things stand out. Does anything particularly positive jump out? Maybe you had a great vacation or trip, or a big life event happened, a wedding, a proposal. Perhaps something ended in 2025. Maybe a job, a relationship, or even life for someone close to you. Just notice the things that pop out in your memory of 2025. And just try to notice how those quick reactive memories make you feel. Do they make you feel uplifted, excited, joyful, with gratitude? Do they make you feel somber or heavy or weighed down? Allow yourself to put names on what those emotions feel like. And with each inhale, allow a new sense of freshness, of vibrance and vitality, of energy, of life enter into your body. And with each exhale, notice that something has to give to make space for the new. Something has to be let go of. If you imagine yourself holding in your arms a stack of marbles, and each marble represents a memory, an activity, an expectation, a thing that happened, a thing that you're carrying. Notice that in order to make space for new marbles, you're probably going to drop some. You can only hold on to so much. So with each exhale, allow yourself to feel a little lighter. On your next inhale, come back to your body, come back to your breath, come back to this present moment. Put your one hand on your heart, and the other hand can either go on your heart as well, or maybe on your belly to feel your breath move. Allow yourself to connect with your human physical body. Come back to this present moment, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Beautiful. I hope we are in a state that we feel comfortable to begin looking back on the last year. Now, you may have just done a quick scan of the things that happened, but I would venture to guess that there's probably some things that you forgot about or just didn't come to top of mind. So, what I invite you to do now is to collect your resources. And if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to pause and get all of those materials ready if you need to. But again, I recommend that you look at some of the things of the ways that you recorded time that you recorded things that happened. One example could be your calendar. One example could be your digital calendar. So physical calendar, digital calendar, whatever you use. Your photos, I find to be extremely illuminating on what actually happened. And so what we're going to do, and this again is an interactive accountment of time. So if you are with me live, then let's do this together in real time. And if you are joining me on the replay, then I invite you to pause or try to stick with the rhythm of doing it live. So let's see. We're going to look, what are we going to look at? So we're going to get our journal and we're going to reflect on the things that happened. So we're going to look at this through a few different ways. First, we're just going to look at like an actual accounting of events. We're going to go through our calendar and our photos and we're just going to say, what happened? What did I do each month of the year? Did you do anything, right? Did you do something crazy, something fun? Did you notice, oh man, this month we had baseball practice every single Saturday that consumed our whole month. What did you do in those months? Then we're going to look back and we're going to review some categories of how we feel about things and decide how we feel. And that's part of our resetting and releasing. So pull out your journal and go through each month of your calendar and just write out the things that happened. I'm going to do this right alongside you. I'm not going to share that on the screen. I'll do that on my other screen here. You don't need to know what I did throughout the year. You need to know what you did throughout the year. So I am going to look at my calendar. But I'll show you, so what I'm doing here is, I guess maybe I can't pull that over. Here, we'll do it this way. I am just going through, so first I'm going through, is it gonna, no, it's not gonna let me do that. That's okay. First, I'm going through my digital calendar and my planner. So I use my planner a lot for, honestly, I kind of use it almost like a diary. I use it as a to-do list and as an accounting of what's happened. So if I look at, I use a planner called the Clever Fox Planner. I use the smaller one. There's different versions. I really like the spiral bound version of it. The way this planner is broken out is it has a tab for each month, and on that tab you have the monthly, let me go big here. On that tab you have the monthly overview of the calendar. So I like to put some of my, my obvious things on here, like birthdays, holidays, days off, vacations, things that are really high level. There is a section for your monthly goals here as well, and your wins and your reflections for what you want to take into the next month. We'll kind of use that a little bit next in our next workshop session. And then each following after the monthly tab, you have the weekly tabs. Now, what I like about this is I have every day is on this side. There's no time reflected. There's no hour of the day listed. I like that it's just some blank lines. I use this as like my to-do list or things that are happening that day, like appointments. So I'm a little, maybe it's a little overkill. I think maybe I track things maybe a little too much. So I have my appointments on here, and then if it's something that is really important or requires other people, I usually have that on my virtual calendar as well. So my digital calendar that's on my phone, my iCal, my Google Calendar, all of those events go there as well. But I like to use this as sort of like a to-do list of things that I need to do that day, or reminders, or just a general recap of like meetings that happened, things like that. Um, and there's other things on this as well. It also tracks habits. You have your personal to-do lists for the week. You have, high level priorities. There's lots of different ways you can use this to track your priorities. But I really like to use, like this week, oh man, this week had a lot of stuff written in it. Not every week does, but I like to go through these and just see high level what happened. And then as I'm going through my virtual calendar, my physical calendar planner, and my photos, I like to scroll through my photos too and just make a quick bullet point list in my journal of what happened that month. So I'm going to go through my month here, and I hope you are following along with me. We'll start with January, and I'm just going to jot some things down. So let's go back to 2025. Did we do anything? Did we go anywhere? Did we have any appointments or things like that that were important? And this might feel like homework. I think that's why a lot of people resist doing this, is because it might feel like it's homework, and you might feel like, oh, why do I need to go back? I already did all those things. But as you'll see in the end here, it feels really good to know how you spend your time. And one of the best ways to see what's important to you is to look back and see where you spend your time. Are you spending your time doing the things that you say you want to do, or are you spending your time doing things that maybe you don't want to do? Or it's with that knowledge and wisdom of looking back that we can observe some of our own tendencies, some of our own trends, and become a little bit more self-aware on how we're holding ourselves back, perhaps, on achieving some of the things that we say are important to us. For example, people often say they want to get healthier or lose some weight or improve their physical health in some way. Well, you might say that, and you might say that every single year, every single month, but if you're not doing anything to actually take action to achieve those goals, if you're not changing the way you eat, or changing your movement habits, or setting a goal of a physical activity, maybe playing a sport, if you're not doing something that changes your behavior, then you're never going to achieve that goal. And part of this is to be able to adapt our behaviors to live the life that we say we want to live. It's really easy to think about, oh yeah, I want to do this in the future. Maybe someday I'll get a six-pack, or be able to do the splits, or a handstand, or whatever, but if it's really important to you, then let's do something about it. And if it's not really important to you, if you really just don't want to do the things that you have to do to hold a handstand and do the splits, then maybe let's take it off the to-do list and find what we actually do want to spend our time doing. What are we actually doing, and what goals can we use that action to achieve? So it's about becoming in alignment with who we say we want to be and who we're actually becoming. Alrighty, friends. So I don't know that I can share music on here. That would be really cool. But I invite you to set some music up and just continue going through your calendar, your photos. If you really want to get detailed and really see, a deeper level, you could even open up your bank account and see what you spend your money on. That's kind of a different lens of reflection, but it definitely can be very helpful. All right, I'm going to do a few more here with you, and then we can move on. You are more than welcome to continue to do this activity. If you are in the zone, I recommend staying until you do all of them. Go through each month, and again, you're not having to, write down every single day. It's just the high level themes of that month. What did I do this month? If you have a month where you're like nothing happened, then I encourage you to look a little deeper and find something that did happen. Did you go to dinner or lunch with somebody? You know, did you visit a friend? Did you go to the beach? I mean, it might not be something that is necessarily on your calendar. Maybe it's something you have a photo of. There's something that you did every month, and just try to find high level themes of what you did each month. See how you spent your time. Seeing how you spent your time tells you what was important to you last year. December would probably be pretty easy to remember because it just happened. Sometimes you have to go back and really look at some of those older months to see what happened. But it's nice to, I think, compare last January to this January because we're still so early in it. We're only in our first week. So if there's things that you're like, oh man, I don't want to miss out on doing something in January, well, you still have time. So if you are doing this live with me, feel free to keep going. If you're doing this on the replay, I encourage you to pause until you're done. Finish that task before you move on. For the sake of the recording, I am going to move on to our next step in the reflection process. And I invite you to pick up. This won't take quite as long as going through every month of the year in your reflection. So, please stick with me if you, even after you do your months, come back to me and let's finish this out because I think these next two steps are going to be why looking back is so helpful. You have to do step A before you can do step B and C, but those are the ones that really give you the goods. They give you the goods. All right. So I was just double checking if we had any comments or questions. Nothing coming through. That's totally fine. If you do have questions or comments after you watch the replay, please do let me know. Okay, so after we do our accounting of time from the last year, now we can look at our pie of life. So this is a powerful tool in assessing your level of satisfaction with different categories or areas of your life. Now, this is particularly helpful when it comes to our goal setting and our intention setting, our life planning that we'll do in session 2 of our workshop. But we have to take the time to answer the questions honestly, mindfully, without judgment, so that we can take a accurate accounting of how we're feeling about things in our life right now. So, let me explain. This is what I call the pie of life. The pie of life is 10 categories of relationships or areas of your life that you can rate your current satisfaction level on. This helps you determine what your priorities are and allows you to set intentions within these categories for the upcoming year, so you can select what your priorities are. You can only set so many goals. You can't have 10 different goals and expect to achieve them. You'll never achieve 10 different, high priority goals. If something is important to you, you have to dedicate your time and your energy toward it. But when we get so distracted with all these different areas of our life, it can be really hard to stay focused on something and then begin to move the needle. So, we're going to take a minute to take a snapshot reflection and rate our level of satisfaction on each of these categories. And then we can use that knowledge, that wisdom, to address the goals that we do want to set for 2026. So I'll just give you a high level description of what each of these categories are, and you can rate them in your journal. Again, this is a momentary snapshot. This is not a holistic evaluation. It's just, how am I feeling right now? You can either draw the pie in your reflection journal or just list the numbers out of 10. So the first category is productivity. Now, you saw the things that you did in the last year. At this moment in time, how do you feel about your level of productivity? And what I mean by productivity is just, do you feel like you are overly exhausted, doing too much, that you are burned out? Are you feeling like you're not living up to your potential and the things that you can accomplish with your time? Where would you rate your level of satisfaction and productivity? If you're like, man, I feel really balanced between getting stuff done and resting and recovering and taking care of myself, then that would be a high score of productivity. If you feel particularly burnt out, like you're overproductive, you're just doing too much and you're running on fumes, then I would rate it lowly. Similarly, if you feel like, oh man, I've been in this real sludge lately, I just don't feel like I'm getting anything done, I don't even know where my time is going, that could be another reason to rate that lowly. Family. So the next three categories are all relationships: family, friends, and love. They're three different types of relationships. Family, I consider to be your nuclear family and your, whatever you consider that kind of next layer of extended family. Do you feel like you are, spending adequate time with your family, that you have good relationships with your family? Or are you talking to the people that you love even if they don't live in the same house as you? Do you feel like you are doing too much of the initiating of relationships with the family? Maybe you'd like there to be a little bit more on somebody else's end. Do you feel like you've been avoiding your family because you have some disagreements about things that you don't want to talk about? Again, this isn't about judging. It's about analyzing and realizing, okay, this is where I'm at right now. It's been better. It could be worse. It's been worse. It could be better. Whatever, wherever you are, just give yourself sort of a rating, between 1 and 10. Friendships. In certain times of our life, we may not have as much time for our friends as we'd like. Maybe we are feeling, particularly missing out on different types of friendships. Or if you are in certain areas of your life, you might have a really strong connection with your friends. So how do you feel like you are with your friendships? Do you feel satisfied with how many friends that you're able to spend time with and reach out to? Maybe you're feeling inspired to reach out to somebody soon to say hi that you haven't spoken to in a while, let them know that you love them. Or maybe you feel like you have a really good balance of spending time with your friends, and that would be a really high score. Love, relationships. So this would be something romantic. Do you feel particularly satisfied with your romantic relationships, whether it's a spouse or a partner? Maybe you are not satisfied and you need to come to terms with that or decide what you want to do to become more satisfied. Career. So I want to note that career is not the same as financial security. That's going to be a separate category. But career is more about your purpose, your professional purpose. Do you feel like you are, moving in the right direction of your career that you want to? Maybe you're in a season that you're kind of slowing down on the career, but that feels really good for you. Maybe you're in a season where you're really trying to achieve the next level of success in your career, and so you're working really hard towards that. Maybe you're in a season where you really don't feel fulfilled by your career and you need to reassess and reevaluate where you want to do to improve that area of your life. Next section is hobbies and fun. Do you have hobbies? Do you have fun? Do you do stuff? What are they? Do you have sports or outings that you like to do? Maybe it's a video game collection that you spend time doing. Maybe it's going outside and doing hikes or sports or whatever. How much satisfaction do you currently have with having hobbies and having fun? Whatever that means to you. Health and fitness. Are you doing things to help keep your body and your mind healthy? Do you feel satisfied with your current level of health and fitness? Financial security. Now, I'm sure we all could be like, yeah, I want to make more money. But do you feel like you are financially stable? Like you have, you have a reliable income and you feel secure there? Or is financial security really low and you need to, up that on the priority level so that you have a lot less stress about your financial safety and stability? Next, we have values. So values is sort of a open-ended catch-all. It's sort of a, what have we not covered yet? Values can be things like, if you are a religious person, are you spending adequate time doing the things that you want to do to further your religious study or involvement? Maybe that means going to church. If that's not it, maybe it's, getting deeper in your spirituality in other ways. Maybe that's exploring yoga, exploring Buddhism. It could be things like community involvement might be a really high value for you. Are you involved in your community, or do you want to be more involved with your community? What other values do you have? What are the things that you want to be reflected back to you as somebody who cares about this thing, and are you doing things that further it? And then the last one here is self-love. So this really comes back to, how do you care for and make time for your own relationship with yourself? Are you engaging with your feelings? Are you acknowledging your feelings, or are you shoving them under a rug? Are you giving yourself time to rest, to pause? You're here, so that's really good. This is definitely an exercise of self-love because you are giving yourself an opportunity to reflect and nourish by acknowledging the things that you want in life. So kudos to you for being here and engaging in self-love that way. But on a rate, do you feel like your current trends of self-love are satisfactory? Are you giving yourself that balance that you need between productivity, self-love, and all of the ways that you are engaging with everybody else? Are you making time for yourself too? So those are the categories in the pie of life. And remember, this is not about placing judgment on ourselves. If you feel like you rated something lowly, that's okay. That's just an awareness, and I need you to think about detaching any meaning from that. It is okay to analyze that maybe my, financial security is a little low right now. Let's not think about what that means about us as a person. Let's just label it as what it is, and we'll come back to it. And these numbers are going to be a tool for us in our goal setting, in our intention setting that we use in the next session. So again, we have to know where we are and know where we want to go so that we can make a plan to get there. This is just about knowing where we are. And you might say, you know what? My hobbies and fun score is really low right now, but I'm okay with that because I have all these other areas of my life that I feel super fulfilled, and that's amazing. So I'm going to pause there and make sure that you have a moment to finish your assessment. Alrighty, our last section of our reflection is just a quick summarization. So as you're looking back on your last year, think about some of these questions and jot down whatever comes up for you. So, looking at the last year, what are you most proud of? Did you have any specific accomplishments? Maybe you're proud of having a really balanced life. Hey, didn't do too much of this, didn't do too much of that. Things were even keeled. I feel good about that. Maybe you took some downtime. You didn't have a lot of big, exciting things happen, but you took some time for yourself. Or maybe you're just proud that you did something really cool. What did I learn about myself last year? Or reflecting on the last year? Did I learn that I have different priorities than I thought I did? Did I learn that I really need to spend more time doing X? Or did I learn that maybe I don't want to lose 20 pounds? I'm totally fine with who I am. What am I most grateful for? I'll let this be easy. Just jot down some things. Let it be easy. I'm grateful for my time with person or people. I am grateful that I have a roof over my head. I am grateful that I have food in my belly. I am grateful. There's a lot to be grateful for. Just start shouting some things out. And then the last one, what do I want to keep? So what are the things from the last year that I'm like, oh dang, I want to do that some more. Let's keep that. Now, you could alternatively answer, what do I want to let go of? That's a great version of this question to answer as well. But I try to keep it positive. So what do I want to keep? You know, looking back on my last year, I realized I did a lot of fun stuff. We had a lot of fun trips. Now, I can't necessarily afford to book a bunch of trips right now, but it is something that I'm like, oh dang, that was fun. I like looking back and yeah, it was hard to travel with young kids, but we did some really fun things last year. Or I look back and think, oh man, we were doing stuff every weekend. Like we had baseball practice or such and such, so and so. I liked being busy. Or maybe you want to keep some of your self-care routines. Maybe you're like, oh hey, let's spa Thursdays at home. Home spa Thursdays. Love that. Whatever it is that you want to keep. Alrighty, my friend. So with that being said, we are going to come back to our mind, to our breath, and we're just going to release a couple of things here. Our last little guided meditation of our session today. So, return to your comfortable seat. If you feel okay to do so, please close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . returning to your breath. Notice if you feel any tension in the body, any tightness. Do a quick little scan from your head down to your toes. Scan from your head through your face, your neck, your shoulders, your shoulder blades, your upper back. Scanning through the lower back, the abs, your glutes if you're sitting. Scan through the legs, the knees, the calves, the feet, through the toes. Just notice if anything feels tight or tense. And bring your awareness to any tightness or tenseness and send your breath to those areas on each inhale. As if your breath is accompanied by a little army with their pickaxes, and they're there to break apart any tension or tightness that you have in the body. Let each inhale do its work to soften. And with each exhale, imagine a little bit of that tightness and tenseness releasing from you through the nostrils, through the mouth. Soften through the shoulders, the neck, the back. Allow yourself to feel relaxed. Allow yourself to feel proud of doing the work of reflecting and looking back. It is easy to scan past what happened. It takes effort to look back and learn something from the last year. So breathe in a sense of pride. And release expectation. Release everything. Release judgment of how you spent your last year, because it's over. The last year is over. Door is closed. There's no going back. The calendar has been flipped. You have chosen what you wish to take with you, and we'll make space for that in due time. But for today, allow yourself to close that door with everything that you want to take with you packed in a little suitcase that you're holding with your hand, and knowing that you will make space for it in the year to come. But right now, let it just stay in the suitcase. Everything that has happened has happened. There is no point, no need, no value in reliving or rehashing. Allow your breath to return to this present moment. With every breath, you are stepping into the future. With every exhale, you are stepping away from the past. The past stays in the past. The future has yet to be written. Take one more deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, sigh it out. Open mouth. One more big inhale, just like that. Open mouth, let it all go. Beautiful. And when you're ready, come back to your body. Come back to the room around you. And open your eyes. Congratulations on completing this. I'm very proud of you. It's tough. It's hard to spend an hour on looking back. It is. So, congrats. Well done. And now, I invite you to join me in session 2. I will share an invite for it shortly. The details will be in the description of this YouTube channel, this YouTube description, or in the Facebook group post, or I'll send an email out if you're on my list. You'll get it. Give yourself a couple minutes to re-enter the rest of your day. You might be in a little bit of a hangover, a reflection hangover. Drink some water, and thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing you in session 2. If you have any questions or feedback, I would love to hear them. Please leave them in the comments below or reach out to me directly. You probably know how to find me. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.